So tell me, what was your experience there teaching in Nsukka?
I was highly respected by students, and I never got that kind of respect in the UK when I have been teaching in 2 universities in the UK, and I never got that kind of respect. I was very respected, and the reason was not because at that time, actually, I was called Parent before I married. So they knew me as Miss Parent. But I was respected because of the material I brought to my class, because of the knowledge I had of French culture and civilization and literature that I was teaching at all levels, including postgrad after when I was teaching translation. And my colleagues respected me for the same reasons. My qualifications, my abilities, my competencies.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very interesting.
but you can see that what was happening in the UK, like I gave you the example of my Chinese colleague, she was using her Chinese name to sound authentic as a Chinese lecturer, a lecturer of Chinese. So the UK had a choice. They could get people from the real thing to teach. And the fact that she was called Pearson because she married a British was not interesting for them. And probably she never tried it. She continued using, you. That's the Chinese name. So it was a pattern that they used not only for blacks or whatever. It has nothing to do with color. It was any foreigner, you have the choice. You can employ somebody that is from that very country to teach about that very country. And they thought, not that they didn't know, they interviewed me, okay, but they thought that on what they were saying, on their prospectus for potential students, people will see, Ugochukwu teaching French, they say, oh, is that they could not get a French person? That was the idea, based on ignorance again, you see.
I get it. Thank you for that. All right. Now, what do you think we could do or people could do as a society to make sure that we downgrade this artificial barrier that we have created, black and white, referring to ourselves instead of just simply say where you are coming from in Nigeria by definition today, or in a more global sense, Africa, European. What do you think we could do to sort of talk to ourselves naturally the way we are instead of these artificial barriers?
I think that there is need for corporate work on both sides. First of all, if you come, that's my own experience as coming as a foreigner here. I was not British at all. And the French and the British are very different. Now, you come as a foreigner, what do? Will you start looking for other foreigners from the same area, be it Nigerian or French, or in fact, I could have, but neither me nor my husband ever did that anywhere. When my husband came to France for his year abroad as a student of French, he met Nigerians and left them within a fortnight, and then started mixing with French people. And he was well loved, well respected, but he was a bit of a loner because he was not going to stay there forever. But the first thing is, if you come to a new country, you can use your backup group as a support, especially when you don't know anything about the country, you're a newcomer. But then, if you have made a choice of moving to a new country, wherever it is, you have to integrate, not just be patching there and continuing with your life as if you were still in Lagos. It's necessary that we mix, that we try to understand the people. You don't just. I give you a quick example. I was just new at Nsukka, and I made friends with a very old lady. Well, not very old. She was in her 70s, my age now. And she was, at that time, I thought she was very old. She was a specialist of the same domain, oral literature, with me. So I made friends with her. Unfortunately, shortly after, she got operated, and then one day she was coming back from UNTH Enugu. She had a fatal accident and died. And I went to,
Oh,
I was really sad, and I went to the lying-in state. I didn't know anything about the customs in Nigeria. I entered that room and people were laughing, cracking jokes, drinking and eating women. And I was crying and say, what is it I'm doing here? Why are these people not sad? It passed me. I could not understand. It took me 10 years because nobody explained to me, but I was trying to understand. But gradually I started, because I joined the church and joined the women's group. I started going to the occasions like that and noticed what people were doing and started understanding and processing the difference and trying to, oh, that is why they are doing that. They didn't say we are doing this because of that, because they could not see any difference. They could not understand what was strange, because for them it was life. For me, it was strange. And then I started understanding. And when I lost our son and the women came, I knew what to expect. You see it? So the thing is, you have to make effort to mix with the people, trying to understand. They may not be able to explain themselves because they don't know that there is any problem for you. They don't know your culture. They know them as their own as normal. So you have to try and mix, enter, join groups, whatever it is, like camping or, rambling or singing or whatever group, mix with the people and stop, gluing with your own people from back there. And then the people the other side, at first, it will be difficult for them to do anything because they don't know better, but they are on their soil. So they are comfortable, they are rooted, they have none of the problems you have as a newcomer. But if you mix with them, they will start discovering that there is something else than their own language, that their own, usually when you do that, they start getting interested and say, oh, like they cannot pronounce my name. So they say, oh gosh, okay, Francoise Ugochukwu. And Ugochukwu means the glory of God. And they say, oh, wow, interesting. You see, you have changed their point of view. But the one that is coming in must do the effort, because otherwise stereotypes will stay. And then don't grab the stereotypes and claim them for yourselves, like people do. See, for example, this Black Lives Matter, you see that some people reacted in saying, but all lives matter, or unborn lives matter too. Because they resent it, they say, oh, is that only their life that matters? So people don't understand, you see? So you have to make the extra effort, and it will be well with you. I've never got problem now in the UK, It has taken time, okay, but eventually I got a full-time job. Eventually I retire, and people, I discuss with all kinds of people, and people don't resent me as different now.
that's lovely. That's important. That is the way it's supposed to be. Because none of us really stay and remain where we are born. We go out. We are citizens of the world. We should really be free to move out and everywhere we go. And we really should also make an effort to make our journey a better one for ourselves and also to the people that we are meeting. I think that is very important. All right. Is there anything you would like to add to conclude the conversation?
Let me start thinking whether there is anything. Yeah, you see, when we were talking about what is important is your identity. If you want to be comfortable somewhere, then you have to decide, what is my identity? For example, I was French. I thought I was French. Then I came to Nigeria and I assumed that I was Nigerian. Then one time we came to France for a year, and my own family was finding it difficult to understand me now. I was terribly foreign to them, and I didn't understand what was wrong. And so I had to ask myself, actually, who am I? You see? And when you decide what is your real identity, then you'll be more comfortable. Another point, the last point I would say is avoid logic. For example, if you say, okay, X is a foreigner. Now, my assessment of foreigners, my experience of them is bad. Therefore, that X must be bad. That doesn't work. But people do that every day. For example, when I was in primary school, somebody in that town in France, a small town, raped a girl, and he was from somewhere else. And the neighbor to my grandma said, oh, these foreigners, because she had only seen one. And unfortunately, that's it. He was a bad person. So we should avoid, you see, again, putting people in boxes, simplifying matters, and be ready to appreciate the great, rich variety of the world.
Dr. Ugochukwu Francoise, thank you so much for the conversation. I really appreciate it.
Okay, see you.